How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. I want to give a big shout out to everyone who continues to watch the videos, like the videos, subscribing to the channel, and giving me your thoughts in the comment sections. I want to keep hearing everybody. Let's keep that train rolling. I have a name today we're going to discuss in terms of trade talks, and I want to hear your thoughts. It's a more surprising name than just the typical rumors that you all have heard. But before we get into all that, let's talk about the Cubs and their game last night. All I can say is something needs to change. I don't know if it's the Cubs need a new starting pitcher or a jolt in the system. The Cubs offense did its job. They scored 7 runs, which should be plenty to win Major League Baseball games. No doubt about it. 7 runs is enough, but again, they became susceptible to the long ball, and the game got out of hand. And there was that critical mistake in center field by PCA in the sense of he thought there was 2 outs, and the way he caught that ball at the warning track allowed Masyn Winn to tag up and score from second base. Now, to be fair, Masyn Winn can absolutely fly, and I think if PCA kind of knew of the situation, he was able to get it in time for Masyn Winn just to time to tag up to third, but the way he caught it, the way he was kind of lollygagging out there, and allowed Masyn Winn to come in and score that 8th and officially winning run. And now it's all of the talk here in the Chicagoland area, because obviously in the grand scheme, that one mistake technically did lose them the game, but you gave up 8 runs. If you give up 8 runs, you're generally going to lose baseball games. I'm not sure what the overall record is when a team gives up 8 runs. It's not above 500. I'm willing to bet a lot of money on that. So it's not just PCA who had the fault last night. Tyone was not sharp by any means. And obviously the offense didn't really kick into high gear until it was forced to be desperate by the onslaught of the Cardinals. So a lot of things are going wrong for the Cubs right now. We've obviously lost 4 of 5 games. It hasn't looked pretty. The bullpen has not been as solid. The starting pitching has been very, very rocky. So, we got our main man, Matt Boyd, on the bump today. We'll preview that game here at the end. Hopefully, we can get back on track on that front. But, again, it's not just PCA's fault. Obviously, it's super easy to get critical and look at one point in the game, be like, oh, yeah, that's why they lost. No, they lost the game well before just that. It was 8-5 at that point. But the offense looks solid. The pitching just needs to be a little bit crisper. And the Cubs will be winning more ball games here in a matter of time. No worries about that. Now, I want to talk to all of you about a potential trade prospect. This name surprised me, okay? I was listening on the radio. I always listen to 670 The Score when I'm driving to my other job. And I just loved, you just never know what you're going to hear, right? We've gone over the traditional names, right? Sandy Alcantara. We know the Marlins are selling. Zach Gallen. We know the Diamondbacks are on the prosperity of selling, etc. We've talked about Tyler Anderson, Malley, etc., etc. Here's a name that I think would really surprise a lot of people, and this would be just a total Cubs move, okay? This one right here. If the Cubs traded for Luis Severino on the Athletics. He currently has a 2-7 record. The batting average against is above league average at 260. His ERA is a 4.42. He's pitched 95 innings. His whip is not ideal. He's not having the strongest season for the Athletics. Now, again, the Athletics are not that solid of a ball club, right? They are dead last in the AL West, well below 500. And, they're traditional sellers. They're traditional sellers in the sense they're always looking to make a move. And honestly, Luis Severino is signed to the most expensive contract in their team's history. It's a 3-year, $67 million deal. And I think, honestly, it would not take much for the Cubs to go out and get this guy. I don't think it would take a lot of big prospects. Because there's one thing that the Athletics are into, it's cheap labor. I don't even know if they care necessarily what the labor provides. Every once in a while, the Athletics will be really good and they'll make the playoffs, but they'll never threaten a World Series, because they just don't want to spend the money to. And the fact that they forked over $67 million to this guy is kind of like, I don't know if they're just trying to, add more value to him to trade for more. I'm not sure. But I think this would be a sneaky link pickup for the Cubs if they were able to trade for Luis Severino. Maybe give up 2 prospects, maybe one in the top 10, top 15. I'm not sure how it would look on that end, but I don't think the Athletics are really looking to stay in the business of paying this guy $67 million. over the next 3 years. And I think he would actually be a fantastic fit in for the 4 or 5 slot for this Cubs team. And he could pitch like a 3. He's obviously had a lot of previous experience. Severino is closer to like a 3.5 career ERA type pitcher. We know he's pitched in the playoffs. We know he's done some good work. I think it would be a very good pickup for the Cubs, and I think if he came over to a much more winning ball club, the numbers would go down a little bit, because I think a change of scenery is absolutely more impactful than a lot of people like to give it credit for in this specific situation. So that's a name I would potentially keep an eye out on, Luis Severino. I know Jeff Passan gave out his top, 50 trade targets of the season. I think number 1 was Alex Bregman, ironically. I'm not sure if the Red Sox are going to trade him or not, but obviously he has an opt-out, and he's probably going to opt out to go and make some money because he's having a great year. Number 2 is Freddie Peralta. I don't think Freddie Peralta and the Brewers and the Cubs are going to be doing a deal here anytime soon. Maybe Freddie Peralta comes over as a free agent, but definitely not via the trade with the Milwaukee Brewers. And number 3 on the list was Sandy Alcantara. So this is much more of a sneaky move for the Cubs. It's a name I wasn't expecting to hear, but the more I think about it, I'd be like, okay, I see why, right? I see why they would go with a move like this. He was solid for the Mets last year. He's always been solid with the Yankees. Big market pitcher. It's a move that the Cubs could strongly consider in this situation. So that's a name I would keep an eye out for. And then the corresponding move, obviously, not just the game yesterday, but the game before. Ben Brown has officially been optioned to AAA Iowa. I'm not sure what he needs to work on specifically. He has these stretches where he looks really, really good. Solid pitching. I think the first 3 or 4 innings of the game on Monday, he was really solid, and then he gave up home runs. He was suspect to the long ball, couldn't keep the ball on the ground, and that is what did the Cubs ultimately in on Monday night, and what has done ultimately to him throughout his more recent starts. He had one good start against Tariq Skubal a few weeks ago. He kind of went toe-to-toe with him, but when you're going toe-to-toe with Tariq Skubal, one mistake can cost you the game, and that's essentially what happened. He gave up a home run, and that was all she wrote in that game. So Ben Brown was optioned to AAA. They called up Porter Hodge from AAA. They're ready to get him rocking and rolling in that bullpen. We are just stringing the pieces together. The Cubs need to make a move here in the next 2 weeks. They need to go get another arm. They need to make something happen, and that is what is going down here. So Ben Brown will not be starting here anytime soon. I still don't think that solves the Kyle Ray issue. I think a big move is coming here, ladies and gentlemen. We have to keep our eyes peeled. Keep those noties ready. It's about to go down. So, Game 3 is again tonight. This is a 4-game set, so even though we can't win the series, that doesn't mean we can't negate the damage, right? If we win these next 2 games, essentially nothing's happened, right? Nothing has happened in terms of the NL Central standings. The Cardinals are right on our heels. They're tied with the Brewers. They are both 2.5 games back of the Chicago Cubs, so just putting some breathing room would be really nice. I did expect this Cubs team to go through a slighter rough patch. Maybe not at this point in the season, but I did expect them to go through one. I'd rather it happen now than in September, right? Just kind of a little bit more of a coming back to reality situation, but that doesn't mean one move here or one move there can't change the trajectory of where we're at this year. We still have one of the best records in all of baseball. If you guys saw that article with The Athletic, we're one of the 5 or 6 teams that could really win the World Series according to the metrics that we've met so far this year. So there's still a lot of good optimism, good hope on this front. We just have to get back on track, and that starts tonight. We got Matt Boyd on the bump going against Eric Fetty, and hopefully this Cubs offense still can sustain what it's been doing over the past few days. Scoring runs, we just need to pitch well, play some solid defense, maybe not a lackadaisical play by PCA. But either way, the Cubs will bounce back. I'm not all too concerned about that. I just think it starts tonight. So, again, appreciate everyone who has hopped into the videos. Appreciate the watches, the likes, the subscribes. Make sure you guys and gals keep commenting. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know some sneaky names the Cubs should be looking at here in the next few weeks for some trade pieces. And we will talk soon.